take one freezer baggie. This is a quart size, and in this bag you are going to add milk, vanilla, and sugar. I am adding almond milk, 1 cup of almond milk, but you can use any type of milk, it doesn't matter. And then I'm adding 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla in the same bag with the almond milk. And then for sugar, I am adding 1/4 of a tablespoon of sugar. Then you're going to zip that bag closed nice and tight. Next, we are going to stick 1 cup of ice into our 6 tablespoons of rock salt. Then stick your mixture of milk, vanilla, and sugar into the rock salt and ice bag, zip it tight, and start shaking. This process does take about 10 minutes to do, so don't expect it to be done in like 5 minutes. It does take the full 10 minutes to become fully frozen. But if for some reason you can't wait the full 10 minutes, you can also shake it a little bit and then stick it in the freezer for a little bit. And the reason why this works is because the rock salt helps bring the milk, and the ice also helps the rock salt makes the ice colder, so it will freeze it really quickly. And this does get really cold, so one thing I definitely do recommend is wrapping it in a towel of some sort, preferably not a paper towel because it'll soak right through, and it might get a little wet on the outside also. As you can see here, I ended up putting it in a towel because my hands got cold. So next, this is what it looks like. It was pretty solid, but after 2 or 3 minutes, it had already completely melted. So next, we're going to move on. You're going to need 1 balloon for this. And you're going to blow it up. The size doesn't really matter. Any size will really work. Then you're going to tie it off. And now you are going to rub the balloon on your head. So our next experiment is egg and salt water. So you're going to take 1/2 cup of water and stick it into a cup. Then you're going to you can test it out with an egg to see if it floats or sinks. It should sink, and then you're going to take some salt. You don't need that much, so I think about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Maybe, yeah. It just depends how much water. And then you're going to stir it, and the amount of food coloring doesn't really matter. It's just the more you put in, the darker it's going to be, and the less you put in, the lighter it's going to be. And this process will also dye your egg, but it's still edible because it's just food coloring. As you're gonna see here, I'm gonna pick my egg up, and it's gonna look like it has a blue tint to it, which is the food coloring. This next experiment is really cool. It's blowing up a balloon without your breath, and you are going to put 2 tablespoons of vinegar into a empty water bottle. And for the next step, you will need a funnel or an adult's help. So you're gonna put the baking soda in the balloon. And it is 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And now you're gonna stick the balloon onto the water bottle. Lift the balloon up and watch what happens next. The more vinegar and the more baking soda you put in, the more blown up your balloon will be. So next we are going to be making Dinosaur Snot or oobleck. It doesn't really matter the amount of cornstarch you'll have. I just used a few cups, and then I had 2 cups of water. You mix it in, mix it together, and it'll turn solid. And then you can also add food coloring of any color. If you do use blue, it will stain your hands for a day or two, so just be warned. And here, after a little bit, because it took a while for it to get solid, here is me playing with the oobleck I made. It is very satisfying to play with.